Greetings. Today we have the sixth and final installment on the completion of the 1,000-year reign. We begin today by discussing the 13th thing is that the human race must dwell at peace. Micah 4:1 says, "But in the last days it shall come to pass that the mountain of the house of the Lord shall be established in the top of the mountains, and it shall be exalted above the hills, and people shall flow unto it. And many nations shall come and say, Come, and let us go up to the mountain of the Lord, and to the house of the God of Jacob. And he will teach us of his ways, and we will walk in his paths. For the law shall go forth of Zion, and the word of the Lord from Jerusalem. And he shall judge among many people, and rebuke strong nations afar off, and they shall beat their swords into plowshares, and their spears into pruning hooks. Nation shall not lift up a sword against nation, neither shall they learn war any more. But they shall sit every man under his vine, and under his fig tree, and none shall make them afraid, for the mouth of the Lord of hosts has spoken it. For all people will walk every one in the name of his God, and we will walk in the name of the Lord our God forever and ever." Someone noted 4 characteristics of this kingdom in these verses: the supremacy of it, the universality of it, the peace of it, and the prosperity of it. It will require Christ on the throne to accomplish these things. Though we hear them spoken of all the time in the current world, listen, they're not going to happen until Jesus comes again. The 14th thing that must happen is the population must increase. Isaiah 49, beginning at verse 19, "For thy waste and thy desolate places, and the land of thy destruction, shall even now be too narrow, by reason of the inhabitants, and they that swallowed thee up shall be far away. And the children which thou shalt have, after thou hast lost the other, shall say again in thy ears, The place is too strait for me, give place to me that I may dwell." Ezekiel 36 and verse 37, "Thus saith the Lord God, I will yet for this be inquired of by the house of Israel, to do it for them. I will increase them with men like a flock, as the holy flock, as the flock of Jerusalem in her solemn feast, so shall the waste cities be filled with flocks of men, and they shall know that I am the Lord." The 15th thing that must happen is that the desert must bloom. Isaiah 35, verse 1, "The wilderness and the solitary place shall be glad for them, and the desert shall rejoice and blossom as the rose. It shall blossom abundantly and rejoice even with joy and singing. The glory of Lebanon shall be given unto it. The excellency of Carmel and Sharon, they shall see the glory of the Lord and the excellency of our God, for the Lord shall comfort Zion. He will comfort all her waste places, and he will make her wilderness like Eden, and her desert like the garden of the Lord. Joy and gladness shall be found therein, thanksgiving and the voice of melody." The 6th thing that must happen is that there will be no famine. Joel 2:23, "Be glad, ye children of Zion, and rejoice in the Lord your God, for he hath given you the former rain moderately, and will cause to come down for you the rain, the former rain and the latter rain in the 1st month. And the floors shall be full of wheat, and the fats shall overflow with wine and oil, and I will restore to you the years that the locust have eaten, the cankerworm and the caterpillar and the palmer worm, my great army which I sent among you. And ye shall eat in plenty and be satisfied, and praise the name of the Lord your God, that hath dealt wondrously with you, and my people shall never be ashamed." Now I submit to you that these events have not happened yet, but they will come to pass in connection with the promised 1,000-year reign of Christ upon the earth. And all these things are necessary parts in order to completely fulfill the 1,000-year reign of Christ with his saints.